This is the WHTC Morning News with Gary Stevens on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
Welcome back to the WHTC Morning News for this Friday, February 18th. Friday mornings, we travel Michigan, looking at what's going on in our state, as well as travel and tourism in the state with the Vice President of Pure Michigan, Dave Lorenz, joining us via the Zoom connection this morning. Dave, good morning. Hope all is well, and you and with everybody, not only at Pure Michigan, but also with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, your parent arm.
Thank you, Gary, and I'm really glad you mentioned the MEDC, our parent group, because I am up in Marquette with our CEO for the next couple of days. Get to show Quentin Messer, who's relatively new as the CEO of the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, this real important intersection between what we usually call travel and tourism and what people call economic development. It's one and the same. Travel and tourism is a huge part of our economy. And so here during the UP 200, we're going to be able to watch those dogs take off tonight. And then after a bunch of meetings today, and then tomorrow and Sunday, we're going to be hitting the road, meeting with business people from all over the area. And we're going to even on Sunday, I hear we're going to do some ice climbing. I guess Quentin wanted to try ice climbing. And I have done it. I've loved it. But I'm getting older, Gary, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, let the younger people do that. I'd love to be able to talk a little fun stuff with you. Unfortunately, there are a few things I do want to touch upon on the travel and tourism side. First of all, let's go internationally. The tensions going on in the Ukraine right now. Does that have an effect on the tourism industry in general, Dave?
Everywhere, actually. When there's big conflict, when there are wars or when there are threats of wars, it adjusts everything. People are less hesitant to travel internationally, of course. And we don't have a lot of that right now anyway, but it slows down the recovery and it gets people very concerned and very worried about it. So in every way, I hope that this doesn't go any further and the Russians pull back and we can kind of get this all behind us. Let's hope, because it's bad for us in every way.
Let's get a little closer to home, but a harrowing scene out of Rochester. Bloomfield Hills, Birmingham area, when Oakland Hills went up yesterday, and I thought about immediately, what would we be thinking if that was the Grand Hotel, or in these parts, what if it was Dizwan?
Yeah, well, all it takes is a spark, and we can have real problems anywhere at our home or at one of our really well-known tourism attractions. And hated to see the Oakland Hills golf course go up in flames yesterday. So there's one bright spot there, Gary, is they had a little time to at least get out some of that memorabilia. The Oakland Hills golf course, that place is amazingly beautiful. It's a tremendous course. I've never golfed it myself, but I've been there for, big golfing events. And it's just a beautiful place, and the club members are very proud of their clubhouse as well. So it's great that they were able to get out of the, get these various pieces of art and other pieces of memorabilia out of there. Can happen anywhere. And here's the thing: they'll rebuild, and who knows? Maybe it'll be even better in the future. But it's going to be a little rough for a while.
Yeah, I just shudder about an iconic structure going down. I remember when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, I went into the Ford Rotunda. There was a Ford Rotunda building in Dearborn where they were showing all the new cars. And less than a year later, that went up in flames. And there's still that circular area where the Rotunda used to be. And, I was thinking, I hope it doesn't happen to the Grand Hotel where I've stayed.
Well, they have, for such an old building, Grand Hotel, they have such great, fire protection systems set up. So I'm happy about that. And you'd be amazed how prepared Mackinac Island is, and the emergency, plans that they had, that they put together. I mean, everything from specifically Grand Hotel has a deal that if there was a fire in some of the other buildings, they would purposely demolish the one next door to stop it from spreading. I mean, it's pretty amazing the plans that they have put together over the years, because these iconic places, they just need to last forever. And so they thought about it.
I just hope they never have to enact those emergency plans. A sign that perhaps the tourism industry is starting to get back to normal. We're seeing more ads, obviously the Pure Michigan ads, but also the ads for, and I'll bring this specifically, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. They're trying to get people to get on the cruise ships again after a couple of years where the cruise industry, some thought wasn't going to make it. It looks like they're going to be trying to get back.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Christine Duffy, is the CEO of Carnival Cruise Lines, and she's the chair of the U.S. Travel Association. I'm on the executive board, so we've been talking about this for months. And you can see right now the cruise lines start to really advertise a lot. And interestingly enough, here in the Great Lakes area, we're also preparing for future cruises here. We're going to have some new cruise lines come into the Great Lakes this year for the first time. It's going to be pretty cool to see some of these newer ships coming in. Now, just so you know, our ships in the Great Lakes area are fully self-sustainable. They don't dump. People always say, well, you don't want cruise ships, because they imagine these huge, 4,000 passenger ships. They're relatively small, although they're really impressive here in the Great Lakes, because we're not used to seeing 200 and 400 passenger ships. So don't worry, they don't dump trash. They don't dump anything out. They hold that stuff, and then they use proper disposal techniques when they get into the port. They do everything they can to make sure that it's sustainable, environmentally friendly. And frankly, if you look at it that way, it's much more environmentally friendly to go by ship than it is by car for that number of people. So it's going to be tremendous to see these ships come back into the Great Lakes area. And with these new ones, you're going to think James Bond is coming to port.
Yes, shaken, not stirred. And one final thing, and this is a Florida story, but I just want to get your thoughts about Michigan. According to our wire service, Florida's tourism numbers are continuing to surpass pre-pandemic levels. Governor Ron DeSantis says numbers from Visit Florida show the Sunshine State welcomed nearly 31 million visitors in the last quarter of 2021. Obviously, this is their time when people come down to get away from the snow. But as for Michigan, what are we looking at right now? Are we getting close to where we were before March 2020?
Yeah, well, Florida, of course, they didn't have all the restrictions to hold people back for all that time. So they've been able to benefit from that additional amount of traffic of people going there for, quote unquote, COVID freedom. But now everybody's kind of relaxing on all the restrictions. You see that everywhere, including here in a lot of ways. So you're going to see people traveling everywhere. This pent-up demand is incredible. People are still going to be cautious. And I still recommend, in fact, if you're on a plane, I'm still going to be wearing a mask, and I recommend you consider that as well. So it's going to be kind of in stages before we fully are going to be out there feeling very comfortable that COVID is behind us. It's never going to be totally behind us, but at least we'll learn to move forward with it. And you're right, we are getting ready for the bigger part of the season, and it's going to be a good one here. In fact, we just recorded some new ads with Tim Allen earlier this week. He was in bright spirits, could not stop making jokes about the Lions and Stafford. In his, he and I are both Lions fans, frustrated by reality. And we had a fun time. So be looking for those ads and be listening for those ads. It's going to be fun.
We look forward to that as well. Dave Lorenz joins us Friday mornings to talk about travel and tourism in our Travel Michigan segment. Dave, as always, thank you very much. Enjoy Marquette and, of course, the great state of Superior. Well, some of us like to call it the great state of Superior. We'll talk to you next week if all goes well.
2 peninsulas, 1 Pure Michigan. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you very much, Dave Lorenz on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.